everybody, welcome to the Kendall and Marin Show. Today we're going to delve into the first half of Unit 5 AP World History, Revolutions Part 1.
Starting with topic 5.1, government reforms.
John Locke's concept of the social contract said that individuals consent to be governed in exchange for the protection of their natural rights. This idea influenced many Enlightenment thinkers who also desired government reforms.
Locke believed in the tabula rasa, or the blank slate theory, which suggests that individuals are born without innate ideas and that knowledge comes from experience. This idea challenged traditional notions and influenced the period of Enlightenment.
Baron Montesquieu, Voltaire, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau were key figures of the Enlightenment who contributed significantly to political thought and governance.
Montesquieu's work, particularly The Spirit of the Laws, advocated for the separation of powers within government, influencing the design of modern democratic systems.
Voltaire voiced ideas of freedom of speech and religion, challenging the church's and monarchy's authority.
Rousseau's idea on popular sovereignty inspired revolutions and democratic movements worldwide.
This period also experienced an introduction of new schools of thought known as cultural isms.
The Enlightenment era fostered the spread of various intellectual movements, including deism, liberalism, and conservatism.
Deism, a belief in a rational God who created the universe but did not intervene in human affairs, reflected the era's emphasis on reason and skepticism of traditional religious things.
Liberalism advocated for individual rights, representative government, and free market economics, laying the groundwork for modern democratic societies.
Conservatism, in contrast, sought to preserve traditional institutions and values in response to the radical changes brought about by the Enlightenment ideals.
The Enlightenment era fueled the rise of nationalism, leading to movements for independence and self-determination among various ethnic and cultural groups.
Nationalist sentiments often arose in response to oppressive colonial rule, driving movements for independence in regions across the globe.
Feminism emerged as Enlightenment principles of equality and individual rights spread. Figures like Mary Wollstonecraft and Olympe de Gouges challenged traditional gender roles and advocated for women's rights.
The abolitionist movement, inspired by Enlightenment ideals of liberty and equality, led to the end of slavery.
The Dreyfus Affair, a scandal in France involving false accusations of treason against a Jewish military officer, highlighted tensions between anti-Semitism and contributed to the emerging Zionist movement led by Theodor Herzl.
There were also many economic reforms that took place.
Adam Smith's The Wealth of Nations laid the foundation for modern economic theory, advocating for free markets, limited government intervention, and the division of labor. His ideas formed the basis of laissez-faire capitalism.
Socialism emerged as a response to the inequalities and injustices of industrial capitalism. Early socialist thinkers such as Henry de Saint-Simon, Charles Fourier, and Robert Owen proposed utopian socialism which envisioned cooperative living and economic equality.
The Fabian Society, founded in Britain, promoted gradual socialist reforms through democratic means, influencing the development of social welfare policies in the 20th century.
Moving on to topic 5.2, many revolutions were taking place, including the American Revolution.
The Declaration of Independence declared the American colonies independent of British rule. It emphasized the natural rights of individuals, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, laying the foundation for the new American nation.
The American Revolution was driven by grievances over taxation without representation, infringements on colonial rights, and a desire for self-governance. The resulting independence marked a significant milestone in the history of democracy and inspired similar movements and revolutions worldwide.
The American Revolution inspired others to rebel, including the French.
Enlightenment ideals voiced by previously mentioned philosophers such as Montesquieu, Voltaire, and Rousseau laid the groundwork for the French Revolution by challenging traditional notions of monarchy and aristocracy.
The principles of liberty, equality, liberty, equality, and fraternity became rallying cries for the French people, sparking widespread revolutionary fervor.
The Reign of Terror, led by radical revolutionaries like Maximilien Robespierre, saw the mass executions of perceived enemies of the revolution, illustrating the extreme measures taken to defend revolutionary ideals.
The Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Citizen declared principles of individual rights, equality before the law, and popular sovereignty, reflecting the aspirations of the French Revolution.
Ideas of self-rule continued to spread, reaching the Haitians.
The Haitian Revolution was led by figures like Toussaint L'Ouverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and Henri Christophe, was a successful slave revolt that led to the establishment of Haiti as the first independent Black republic in the Western Hemisphere.
Toussaint L'Ouverture's leadership and military prowess played a crucial role in driving out colonial powers and establishing self-governance in Haiti.
Latin America was also experiencing the Boulevard Revolution.
Simón Bolívar, known as the Liberator, led independence movements across Latin America, playing a pivotal role in securing independence for countries like Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia.
Bolivar's vision of a united Latin America, known as the Gran Colombia, ultimately faltered due to regional divisions and power struggles, but his efforts left a lasting legacy of independence and national identity.
There were also independence movements in Puerto Rico and the Philippines.
Lola Rodriguez de Tio, a Puerto Rican nationalist and poet, played a significant role in advocating for the Puerto Rican independence and self-determination during the late 19th century.
Her nationalist activism led to her exile from Puerto Rico by Spanish authorities, but her writings and advocacy continued to inspire generations of Puerto Rican nationalists.
The propaganda movement, led by Filipino intellectuals and reformists in the late 19th century, sought to advocate for political reforms and greater autonomy from Spanish colonial rule.
The movement laid the groundwork for the Philippine Revolution, which ultimately led to the country's independence from Spain.
As revolutions were breaking states apart, Italy was trying to unify.
Italian unification, known as the Risorgimento, was a movement to unify the Italian peninsula into a single nation state.
Key figures like Giuseppe Mazzini, a nationalist ideologue, and Giuseppe Garibaldi, a military leader, played crucial roles in the unification process through their revolutionary activities and military campaigns.
Realpolitik, a pragmatic approach to politics, also played a significant role as leaders strategically navigated alliances and diplomacy to achieve Italian unity.
Italian immigration to other parts of the world, particularly to the United States and South America, contributed to the spread of Italian culture and identity.
The Italian diaspora maintained connections with their homeland and often supported nationalist movements and causes, contributing to the ongoing cultural and political evolution of Italy.
Germany was also attempting unification.
Otto von Bismarck, the Chancellor of Prussia, orchestrated the unification of Germany through a series of wars and diplomatic maneuvers in the late 19th century.
Bismarck's previously mentioned policies, known as Realpolitik, prioritized the pursuit of national interests and power, leading to the eventual establishment of the German Empire under Prussian leadership.
The Balkan region was experiencing governmental changes.
Ottoman rule in the Balkans faced increasing challenges from nationalist movements seeking independence and self-determination.
The failure of Ottomanism, a policy of Ottoman identity and unity, exacerbated ethnic and religious tensions in the region, leading to further conflict.
The societies of many places were reorganizing.
Maroons, escaped slaves who formed independent communities in remote areas, played a significant role in the Haitian Revolution by resisting colonial authority and providing support to rebel forces.
Social order in colonial Latin America was stratified, with peninsulares, Spanish-born colonists, occupying the highest social class, followed by mestizos, mixed-race individuals, and mulattoes, people of mixed African and European ancestry.
In Europe, the storming of the Bastille marked the beginning of the French Revolution and ignited widespread discontent with the monarchy and aristocracy.
The process of uniting the Italian peninsula involved internal conflicts and struggles as various regions and states vied for power and autonomy.
In Topic 5.3, we touch on many new technological and manufacturing developments. This included technology used to increase textile making efficiency.
The spinning jenny, invented by James Hargreaves, and the water frame, developed by Richard Arkwright, revolutionized textile production during the Industrial Revolution.
These innovations mechanized the spinning and weaving processes, significantly reducing the time and labor required to produce textiles.
The spinning jenny allowed multiple spindles to spin threads simultaneously, while the water frame utilized water power to drive spinning machines, enabling large-scale textile production in factories.
There were also technological developments that helped with agricultural production.
The agricultural revolution, which began in the 18th century, saw the adoption of new farming techniques and technologies that transformed agricultural practices and increased productivity.
The innovations such as crop rotation, which alternated crops in fields to maintain soil fertility, and the seed drill, which mechanized the planting of seeds, led to higher yields and improved efficiency in farming.
Manufacturing also increased with the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution, starting in Britain in the late 18th century, marked a shift from agrarian and handicraft-based economies to industrialized manufacturing fueled by the machinery and technology.
Industrialization led to significant population growth as people migrated from rural areas to urban centers in search of employment and factories.
The influx of workers into cities, coupled with advancements in transportation and communication, spurred economic growth, increased wealth, and transformed social structures.
Cottage industries based on small-scale production in rural households were gradually replaced by mechanized factories due to their inability to meet the growing demands for goods.
Innovations such as interchangeable parts, pioneered by Eli Whitney, facilitated mass production and the assembly line, enabling greater efficiency in manufacturing processes.
The division and specialization of labor became key features in industrial production, with workers focusing on specific tasks within the production process to increase efficiency and output.
The economy experienced changes, including the enclosure movement.
The enclosure movement, which took place in Britain during the 18th and 19th centuries, involved the consolidation and privatization of common lands previously used for agriculture.
Enclosure allowed landowners to adopt more efficient farming methods and increase agricultural productivity, but it also led to the displacement of small-scale farmers and rural communities.
The enclosure of common lands limited access to resources and contributed to rural poverty, prompting many people to migrate to urban areas in search of jobs in factories.
The Industrial Revolution created new opportunities for investment and entrepreneurship, leading to the accumulation of capital by industrialists and investors.
Capital investment in factories, machinery, and infrastructure fueled economic growth and technological innovation, driving the expansion of industries and the development of new markets.
Britain was undergoing environmental changes.
Britain's access to seaways facilitated the importation of raw materials such as cotton, wool, and coal, which were essential for industrial production.
Urbanization, particularly in cities like Manchester and Liverpool, saw a mass migration of people from rural areas to urban centers in search of employment and factories.
The rapid growth of cities resulted in overcrowding, poor living conditions, and environmental degradation, as industrial pollution and waste contaminated waterways and air quality.
In 5.4, we get into more new forms of transportation and manufacturing, including the construction of the Trans-Siberian Railroad.
The railroad facilitated easier transportation of goods and people across the vast expanse of Siberia, opening up remote regions to trade and economic development.
Its construction played a crucial role in integrating the Russian economy and military, strengthening the Russian Empire's control over its eastern territories.
The economy was being affected by this change in manufacturing.
Human capital refers to the skills, knowledge, and abilities of a workforce, which are essential for economic production and innovation.
In the United States, investments in education, training, and technology helped cultivate a skilled labor force driving the country's industrialization and economic growth.
The abundance of human capital, combined with favorable geographic conditions, abundant natural resources, and a conducive business environment, contributed to the United States emergence as an industrial powerhouse in the late 19th and early 20th centuries.
During the period of British colonial rule in India, the EIC exerted significant control over the Indian economy and resources.
The EIC's policies and practices often prioritized the interests of British industry over the welfare of Indian population, leading to the exploitation and depletion of India's resources.
Industries such as shipbuilding, iron, and textiles, which had historically thrived in India, suffered under British dominance as resources were redirected to benefit British manufacturing and trade.
The British also imposed tariffs and trade restrictions that hindered India's ability to compete globally and limited its access to marketing for goods, further emphasizing economic inequalities and dependency. Similar patterns of resource exploitation and economic imperialism were observed in other colonized regions, including Egypt.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.